Hello everyone, it's Faithless 7. Today we are playing MARDU Greasefang Brew, and I believe this is the best Greasefang build I ever built, ever played, ever tried in Modern by far. Okay, so we got 8 new unbanned cards in this deck. I believe that is amazing. Mox Opals and Faithless Looting, and I can't tell you which one of these two are better fit in this deck. They are so good, both of them. And Mox Opal, because this is an artifact deck playing Underworld Cookbook, Blood Fountain, which both of these cards can enable turn 1 Mox Opal and some crazy combo turns and crazy saga turns. Often with Cookbook it enables you to play Unearth saga on turn 1 and then on turn 2 immediately you can start making construct tokens. That is a crazy start, can be very strong, especially with Cookbook, which can make constructs really large. Okay, so Nihil Spellbomb, graveyard hate piece in the main. I believe that is very important. We got Goblin Engineer. Goblin Engineer is important piece in a Greasefang combo because it puts Parhelion in the yard, and the Greasefang combo is of course consists of putting Parhelion in the yard either by discarding it or playing Goblin Engineer, putting it in the yard, and then you play Greasefang or Unearth it, and then Greasefang reanimates Parhelion. Okay, but that is not the only powerful thing going on in this deck. So the Greasefang game plan is only one plan. This deck got multiples, so this is Asmo deck with Cookbook, and there are a lot of decks soft to Asmo. If you have Cookbook, make a lot of foods. If you have Overchase Daredevil in deck, you can make your Unearth Saga tokens really large. Once you play Asmo, you can kind of for free kill all their creatures, and some decks are just very soft to that. Another game plan in this deck is Goblin Engineer. Goblin Engineer, it doesn't just put Parhelion in the yard, it can also put other cards in the yard, and we got some very important pieces, hate pieces and value pieces for the deck's gameplay. So we got Underworld Cookbook. If we really need that, can put that in the yard. That enable us to play Asmo, and it can be very important and good target. So Blood Fountain is also kind of a nice fit with in Goblin Engineer deck, because we get 2 artifacts here. We can sack the Blood Fountain, we leave the Blood token, which is more valuable in play, which we can sack Blood Fountain and return something else, then return Blood Fountain again, discard Daredevil, draw a card, kind of generate real card advantage using Goblin Engineer. Also another astonishingly good piece in all Goblin Engineer decks is a Phyrexian Dragon Engine, and this deck plays 4 Unearth. So the Dragon Engine is often very insane piece in this build. It's just a one-off, but we can bring it back using Goblin Engineer and using 4 Unearths, and it can really overwhelm opponent. You can just play this every turn, sacrifice it or kill it, and then play it again, draw 3, and just overwhelm opponent with card advantage. Makes a very good mid-range play, which is already decent with Asmo, with 4 sagas and Goblin Engineer finding hate pieces. We got Nihil Spellbomb in the yard, which also works great with Goblin Engineer's ability. Draws a card here for 1 mana, but we also got some hate pieces in the sideboard. Damping Spheres, Pitting Needles, more Nihil Spellbombs, and Tithing Blade. Don't forget, don't underestimate this card. I started with 1 Tithing Blade, but it was so good, I brought in a second one. It's great when you play against Frog, it's great when you play against Oculus, Murktide. It's great against all creature decks that don't play like tokens or billion creatures. It's just very strong, and often you will find yourself in a situation when you have 2 of them and you have 1 in the field, 1 in the yard, and you're looping them with Goblin Engineer, basically soft locking aggro deck out of their draws, and it's stronger than you think, and it will be often a target with Goblin Engineer in the post-board games. Sometimes you will want just 1 as a Goblin Engineer tutor target, sometimes you will want both, but it's a great piece. Same for Damping Sphere. Okay, so it's actually amazing, especially when you're on the play, being able to put Damping Sphere in your graveyard against combo decks. These are the decks that usually don't have interaction, so they don't have a means to kill Goblin Engineer. So you can safely just turn 3, if you're on the play, bring Damping Sphere to the play for 1 mana. With Goblin Engineer, if you're on the play, it's very hard for Storm to beat. You will see in this league, I think I beat Storm, and once you have or or was it Charbelcher? I think it was Charbelcher, sorry. But similar situation. I had a Pitting Needle on the field and Cookbook on the field and Goblin Engineer. So when you have Pitting Needle, Charbelcher's game plan is to bounce it and then next turn play Belcher, activate ability and win. But with Goblin Engineer and Cookbook on the field, that is not possible. I can discard a Cookbook, make an artifact token, which then I can sack to Goblin Engineer and immediately bring the Pitting Needle back. It's impossible to bounce it. I think that is very funny and a strong game plan against the Charbelcher deck. Similar, you can do the same thing with Damping Sphere against Storm, and it's often just ridiculously powerful. They can't play around it, they can't kill it, they can't beat it, and except using Prismatic Ending, of course. So and Belcher doesn't play that. So yeah, that is very strong game plan against combo decks, especially when you're on the play. On the draw, you sometimes just have to draw the Graveyard Hate or the Damping Spheres naturally, but yeah, that's it. This deck also has the potential to turn 2, do the Greasefang thing and reanimate Parhelion and basically be very close to kill Parhelion. Attacking is 13 damage. Opponent sometimes use shocks. That is sometimes it was almost enough to do a turn 2 kill or get very close to it. And this deck does a lot, has a lot of plans, and it's doing a lot, and it has this Gracie Hate built into Goblin Engineer, doing a lot of dirty job here, and 4 Unearths, kind of key for this build. Make us Unearth, Phyrexian Dragon Engine, Greasefang, Engineer, and Asmo, all very, very strong, good targets. As I said before, Faithless Looting is a great value with Overchase Daredevils in hand, but also very useful putting Dragon Engine, Greasefang, Parhelion in the yard. Mox Opals are, as I said before when I played the Dimir Basim deck, I was so impressed with Blood Fountain, and that is how I came to this brew. So I was so impressed with Blood Fountain in that deck. That was the card that allowed me to play Emery on turn 1 and Kappa Cannoneer on turn 2 many times, and I really liked it. Its interaction, especially with Mox Opal, and in this deck it also enables us to cast Asmo. It works well with Goblin Engineer, a lot of artifact sack fodder, allow us to discard Parhelion in the yard or Greasefang, whatever we need. With Goblin Engineer in a graveyard and Daredevil in hand, this is basically like card advantage. It's not discard draw, because you will always have Daredevil to discard and have artifact in hand to bring it back. So that works very, very well. I like it, and it's I think pretty strong piece. In the sideboard we got 2 more Fatal Pushes in addition to Tithing Blade as our creature hate, so we got a lot of Urza tutor targets, 2 more Spellbombs, Pitting Needle. I explained why Pitting Needle is very important, strong piece in this deck. Shadow Spear, postboard games against decks that are faster than us and can pressure us early. I didn't think it's necessary in the main, but it's very good in the yard. Damping Spheres, I already explained. Damping Spheres great in Goblin Engineer deck. With 4 engineers in the deck, you have like really big access to them post board, and Obsidian Charmhouse as a graveyard hate plus Wear Tears are better now than they ever were, and very useful card to have in the sideboard. And that's it, 20 lands here plus 4 Mox Opals. So yeah, I believe that is ideal for me right now. I wouldn't change a thing in this build. I spent a lot of time on it, tweaked it to the last detail, to the last card. I don't want to change a single thing for a long time, I believe, in this build. Okay, so that is it. Let's now check out the gameplay and see how it went. This was a 5-0 league, trophy league, with this build, which seemed very strong overall. And here we will see game 1 starting with double Cookbook. So I have Daredevil in hand, I have a turn 2 Urza Saga. I think this is a very strong game plan. Okay, so here we are. We can see Faithless Looting doing amazing job immediately in game 1. So discarding 2 Daredevils, this is pure value with looting. Basically 1 mana draw 2, that is actually insane. It's truly like 1 mana draw 2, and it feels amazing. It feels really amazing to do it. And okay, so now I think that like the perfect top deck would be Land, obviously, or Mox Opal. But Asmo is good as well, but unfortunately opponent has... I was trying to find land here, that is why I did all this. But opponent finds Scion combo, which is very unfortunate. This is a second Scion. I don't really have a way to kill the Leyline of the Guild Pact. So yeah, that is the problem. Okay, I was able to actually reanimate Parhelion. And I'm not sure why I didn't go for Greasefang this turn, but yeah, it wouldn't be helpful. It wouldn't be helpful because they have two First Strikers flyers, which block both of my creatures, so I don't gain much with Greasefang ability. Just completely blocked with this Scion thing. Scion combo, and I can't do much here, so yeah. I tried to stay back with Parhelion. I can reanimate Parhelion and stay back with it, so that means that I can just crew it if they attack and survive on one life, kill one Sano Draco if they don't have a removal, but the opponent had removal, so that was it. And yeah, they had a lethal there, so I had to solve this in remaining 2 games. As you will see throughout this league, it was a difficult league. At times I struggled, the opponent had the nuts, like in this game there's just nothing I can do here. It's just a really strong start. Okay, so game 2. Opponent has turn 1 Prismatic Ending, that's pretty good for them. As you can see here, Mox Opal doing a great job. So I was able to play both Cookbook and Goblin Engineer here. Put Phyrexian Dragon Engine to the yard since I'm kind of out of cards. I immediately top deck Greasefang. There was no chance of me knowing that I'll top deck Greasefang, but yeah, at the time Dragon Engine was the best thing to put in the yard. Okay, so right now opponent plays opponent plays Scion, but I find Unearth to draw 3. Kill the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. We can see how important is Tithing Blade in this matchup, killing Cyano Draco. It's very strong. It can kill Cyano Draco even if they have a Leyline of the Guild Pact out, so I have a post-board strong solution for Scion combo in this deck. And yeah, we can see here opponent goes for Territorial Kavu, and I make more food, put Tithing Blade in the yard. I have, that was what I was talking about before. I have Tithing Blade in the yard, I have Tithing Blade in the play. If my opponent doesn't kill the Goblin Engineer here, there is a big problem. I also want to stay back with Phyrexian Dragon Engine, because my opponent obviously will be forced to attack with Kavu, remove Tithing Blade from the graveyard, which then allows me to block with Phyrexian Dragon Engine, put Phyrexian Dragon Engine in the yard, and so now I'm even in better situation. It was a lose-lose situation for the opponent unless they can kill the Engineer. So even if they can kill an Engineer, there is a big chance I will find a land and then unearth Phyrexian Dragon Engine, which would be very strong as well. But this was even better, so I find Phyrexian Dragon Engine, discard my Daredevils, which is definitely not a problem. I get all my Daredevils back here, and now looting again is 1 mana, draw 2. This is absolutely sick, and I find another looting, so it's another card that draws me 2 cards. I'm just basically at this point drawing like 6 cards for 3 mana. That is absolutely nuts. Okay, so I believe this is, as you can see, it is not just a deck that can go fast. It can like do turn 2 Greasefang combo, attack for turn 10, which is insane, but it can also grind brutally with Faithless Looting Daredevils. So it's 3 mana, draw 6. It's disgusting. And not to mention that looting then goes to the yard, and I can use it again to draw 2 for 3 mana from with an Unearth ability. That all of that is just completely insane. And now with Asmo in the field, I can kill my own Dragon Engine and reanimate it back with Goblin Engineer. It's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal. It doesn't get much better than this. This deck does so much and has so many options, ways to threaten the opponent, ways to win. Okay, so let us not forget about the sideboarding plan. Let's show the sideboarding plan here against this was Zoo. Yeah, this was Zoo. So one Blood Fountain, one Daredevil, couple of Unearths. I'm expecting some graveyard hate here. That's why I'm getting rid of some of these cards. And we can see 2 lootings and 1 opal went out in this matchup. Okay, so I wanted more removal from the side. Of course, Fatal Push go in. Tithing Blade, as you saw before, also go. And yeah, I had to make room for some of these decks. And I have Nihil Spellbomb, I have Parhelion in the yard. So what I want to do here is just find a white land so I can play Greasefang on turn 3, hoping my opponent doesn't have removal waiting. I'm kind of in a problem because of this Sino-Jaco, so I'm really hoping I can do the Greasefang combo here. Unfortunately for me, opponent does the Scion, has a removal there, plays a second Scion, and that really messed up my game plan. But I find a second Greasefang from the top, and that was enough to get back into this game. So I now have 2 angel tokens that are basically trading with Sino-Jaco. My opponent is also on 4, so they will be forced to next turn trade with angel tokens. So they are in problem right now. They have to stay back. They don't have removal at this point. Okay, so now I go find a Cookbook. With Cookbook, I can play Asmo, discard Parhelion, play Asmo, find a second Cookbook, discard a second card, then kill Sino-Jaco, reanimate Parhelion again, so I have more than enough to do a kill here, and my opponent obviously didn't draw what they needed. So yeah, I go for Asmo and find second Cookbook. Opponent then concedes. They know I can kill 1 Scion, do lethal, so that's it. Okay, so that was the match 1 against Domain Zoo. So let's check out match 2. It was the last one. It was a close one. Opponent had a removal there for my Greasefang. I was lucky enough to draw the second one. Yeah, okay, so we can see here I have a Blood Fountain on turn 1. If it was a Cookbook, I would be able to play Urza Saga on turn 1, immediately turn 2 start making constructs. That is insane. But here I have Mox Opal, works great with Blood Fountain if you need a draw. Maybe it was even better in this situation to not actually sack Blood Token to so I can remain with having a Metal Crat here. Okay, so I went for a Daredevil. I went for looting. I did not find Parhelion here, so I went for Asmo. Start making food tokens, and if my opponent doesn't kill Asmo next turn, I can just kill Sino-Jaco for free. Misty Rainforest in their deck tells me that this time I'm not playing against Zoo, but playing against the Rhinos. I was right, so Misty Zoo never plays Rainforest, so that's an easy way to know what are you playing against here. Okay, so I go for another food, and I think this is a pretty good situation for me. I kill Scion immediately, reanimate Greasefang, and I still have 2 mana to make a 5/5 construct, which is great for blocking at this point. Okay, so it's pretty obvious that my opponent has Fire Ice here, so I don't block with Asmo. If I block with Asmo, they can just kill 2 of my creatures with Fire Ice, so it's not worth it. I let them kill my construct. It's a pretty badly used turn for them. They weren't able to cast another rhinos. I'm too far ahead now with another construct and more food, double cookbook on the field. It's just a matter of time before I overwhelm the opponent. Now my construct is really large, it's hard for them to kill it. They need to have Leyline Binding, then they need to have more rhinos to threaten me. In meantime, they also have to get rid of Asmo, so opponent is in big problems right now. At the same time, if I ever just draw Parhelion, I have a kill with Greasefang, so a lot of good stuff can happen here. Okay, so I went for Arrogant Palror, surveil Faithless Looting in the yard. Surveilling looting in the yard can be a valuable piece. As you can see in this situation, now I have 2 Daredevils. So now Faithless Looting is just 3 mana, draw 2. That is super strong and it's amazing, really truly amazing. Okay, so I do exactly that. So I do draw 2 from my yard by unearthing Faithless Looting. That's just actually insane. Putting Parhelion now in the yard, I was able to find the engineer, and now Parhelion is in the yard. So Greasefang next turn is also lethal. There's just absolutely no chance for opponent. And remember that I have absolutely no hate for rhinos. I don't have absolutely any hate for rhinos. I have Tithing Blade to kill Scion and that's it. Okay, so but still I was able to win, but not in an easy way. So I lost game 2. We will check out the sideboarding plan. So I don't have many good cards, but as I said, I have Tithing Blade. So I did not put in fatal pushes. I think like it's not worth it. Having just Asmo plus Tithing Blade for Scion, I think that's good enough. Okay, so opponent has Scion combo again, so it's a tricky situation. I had a choice here, so either Parhelion in the yard or Tithing Blade in the yard. It was a difficult choice, but like I'm not dependent. I think maybe Tithing Blade would be a good situation if I was on the play, but like this on the draw, I'm expecting them to play Rhino, so Tithing Blade won't be able to kill Scion. I think at this point Greasefang is better. Going on Parhelion, Greasefang is better, and now I can attack, and I have to attack to make 2 angels, and unfortunately my opponent creatures still have first strike, but at least I'm getting 1 free angel. They can block one with Scion, but they can't block another, so I'm getting a free blocker here. My opponent unfortunately has like too much going on here, and I can only this is the best I can block for my angel token to survive, and my opponent only needs a single removal to go for lethal. Nothing I can really do about that, so that was it. Okay, so easy win for opponent on game 2, but they had their best hand, like turn 2 Scion combo, turn 3 Rhinos into turn 4 removal, a lot of damage went through, so yeah, that was a hard game. And let us now check game 3. Now I started with a Cookbook plus Greasefang. This is not anything like super powerful, but it is pretty decent start. At any point, if I draw Asmo with a turn 1 Cookbook, that can be strong. Tithing Blade, important piece to hate on their Scion combo. And we can see here, thanks to the Mox Opal, I can play a hardcast a turn 2 Greasefang, and if I had like a Parhelion in the yard, this would be very strong. I didn't have it. Still, Greasefang is a decent creature to pressure them this early when they still don't have Rhinos. I can attack, and I'm holding Tithing Blade in case they find Scion. So overall, not great for a situation, but here I can surveil. I can dig, then look for something good from the top, put another surveil in the yard looking to find something strong from the top of the deck. Opponent is also struggling a lot. They are not really finding stuff they need. I did not have anything really strong as well. Just a Tithing Blade in case they find Scion or to kill one of their rhinos, but nothing really strong. I could deal with one set of rhinos, trade with Greasefang, play the Tithing Blade, but yeah, nothing much going on my side of the field as well. Here finally opponent finds a Cascade spell, and they have one Crushing Footfalls in the yard and two suspended, and here they show me. I think they basically played this just to show me they don't have any footfalls in the deck, which was actually hilarious. Okay, so now I go Engineer, put Parhelion in the yard. Opponent doesn't really have much here. So, yeah, they find Leyland Binding to remove Parhelion and survive for another turn. Okay, so I can now all these tutor pieces, artifact pieces are great with Underworld Cookbook, since you can just discard them. You can discard Damping Sphere, Tithing Blade to the yard, and reanimate them immediately with Engineer. So that works very well. Here I gain a life end of turn. Now I can discard Tithing Blade, bring it back with Engineer. I can also just, of course, cast it from hand. Then I go to make another cookbook, and I attack with Greasefang. Since I have another in hand, I decide that's decent for me to do here. I go for Mox Opal, put Opal in the yard so I can next turn start doing the Engineer ability again and play my second Greasefang here. Okay, so all their footfalls are on suspend, pretty bad hand for the opponent. So I continue making foods, of course, still waiting to find something strong. Here I cycle two Unearths, find Earth Saga, that's a good piece here. Now I can sack the Tithing Blade, put Tithing Blade in the yard, bring back Opal, it doesn't matter, I just have to have any target, it's not really important. And then next turn I can start returning Tithing Blade to play. It's pretty useful, nothing broken, but it's pretty useful when you're playing against creatures and often can lock the aggro decks really well. So here you can see I have Tithing Blade in the yard, I have Tithing Blade in hand. So now it doesn't matter if they play rhinos each turn, because I'm killing two creatures for free. I'm killing one creature for free. I'm here killing two, but with I'm killing creature for free every turn just for 1 mana with Goblin Engineer ability. I'm attacking here with Greasefang. My opponent is now on 5 life. I'm making big construct. End of turn there. Opponent plays Subtlety, which was pretty useless here. Okay, so opponent plays Subtlety, they have another Footfalls on the suspend, but it's a pretty bad situation for them, and they concede, so that is the match against Rhinos. Okay, so let's check out match 3. None of these matches were easy. As you can see, all of them finished 2-1. Opponent had really good draws in some of these games. Okay, so here opponent starts off with Gemstone Caverns, exiling Fire Ice. This is a very strong start for Rhinos, and we can obviously see that this is another Rhino deck, and they started with Gemstone Caverns, so it's a difficult start here for me. We can see that I was able to discard Phyrexian Dragon Engine and played Asmo this turn, so I can, if I play a Cookbook next turn, then I won't be able to make a construct, and my opponent, this time they have turn 2 Ardent Plea, they go for turn 3 Rhino, sorry, it's actually turn 2 Rhinos, even stronger. So I'm in a difficult situation. Here I'm trying to make big constructs which hopefully can then overgrow their rhinos and stop them from attacking. Here is opponent attacking me down to 8. And I'm hoping they don't have another set of rhinos. That would be a big problem, and probably too much too early. It's only their turn 3, so it's very early in the game. Fortunately, opponent don't have rhinos, another rhinos this turn, so I'm able to make a couple constructs here. I can play, I can find one cookbook, I can play another cookbook, so that helps make my constructs real big, helps me make enough food. Okay, so I go for a second cookbook, but opponent finds Force of Negation, exiles a Fire Ice. Here I make Blood Fountain to grow my constructs, and now I'm staying back. I only have one food, can kill a creature, but I'm staying back with both constructs. Opponent surveils, and my constructs are big, really big here. So one is 8/8, another is 7/7, and my opponent has can bounce one of them, and then they make a 7/7 Murktide. So in order to survive this turn, I will need to gain 3 life, and then I will be able to survive. And unfortunately, I have 2 food tokens, but I need 4 of them to kill this 7/7 Murktide. Asmo only deals 6 damage. So what I'm hoping here is basically there are a lot of decent top decks, so I can find Greasefang is very good, obviously. Unearth would be another amazing top deck, and you can see that this deck can really dig for options. So starting off with looting, I have 2 cards in my hand that's really good discarded. Okay, so I have options. I can reanimate Dragon Engine with Engineer, but I decide to go for Unearth. Unearth triggers Daredevil, then I draw... I'm looking for a Greasefang here, obviously digging, and you can see that it can dig quite a bit. So I go for a Mox Opal, another Opal, and then I go for another Engineer ability. Maybe the best play here was actually kill my own Dragon Engine, and then with Asmo ability, then reanimate Dragon Engine with Engineer combo, with the Engineer ability again, and then I could hope to maybe find a Greasefang in those 3 cards, discard it, unearth it. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of chance, but maybe that was the best way to try. Okay, so that's it. I lost the game 1, opponent couldn't deal with opponent's Murktide, so that was the game, and let's check out game 2. Sideboarding, obviously same as the last game, or maybe not the same actually. So this the last match we played against Domain Rhinos, but I think this is not the same list. I don't think this list plays Scion or Jacob, so it's a different list playing Murktide instead of Scion and Layla on the Guild Pact. They're pretty similar, but still some important differences there. Okay, so here we can see how good Faithless Looting on turn 1 actually is here. So I can continue with Cookbook on turn 2 here, find a swamp, cast my Asmo. And yeah, early Asmo is pretty good for them, for me. They have Fire Ice, they have Death Gone, or these spells don't kill Asmo, so they have to actually have to have Leyline Binding there. Okay, so I go for a mountain, and I play Goblin Engineer. I did this in this way in case my opponent has Endurance, of course. So I decide to go for a Phyrexian Dragon Engine in this situation, play another Cookbook, and yeah, I think I'm just pretty well positioned here. Two cookbooks, Asmo on the field, a lot of food. I have Faithless Looting in hand to dig more. I have Phyrexian Dragon Engine there, so a lot of stuff going on here. And my opponent, even if they cast rhinos in this situation, it just does nothing. So I just sack the food, kill the rhinos. It's a really bad situation for them. Okay, so we can see here I go for another food, and I decide to use this mana to do Goblin Engineer ability immediately. I can use looting from the yard. I have Greasefang is good in the yard as well with 4 Unearth, so I don't mind that. I find Unearth. I can Unearth Greasefang if I want, or hold it in hand in case they kill Asmo. I go for Greasefang immediately. I can maybe it was a good idea to surveil pre-combat. I could maybe find a Parhelion there with a surveil, but even without Parhelion, I have a lot on the field. My opponent doesn't have removal for Asmo, so it's pretty hopeless for them without killing Asmo here, and that is the game. They concede. Okay, so that was I won the game 2, so let's check out game 3. So another game against Rhinos, me winning again against Rhinos, basically no hate, absolutely no hate. So we can see a hand here with looting Unearth, and I also have Parhelion and Greasefang in hand. That means turn 2 a Greasefang combo, which is very strong, and it happens. It happened to me in every league I played. So in every league I was able to do at least once a looting Unearth combo on turn. Okay, I did this badly. This was too optimistic and completely unnecessary. This was a bad play which almost lost me the game. So very important, unnecessary play. I should have played Faithless Looting there, and Faithless Looting guarantees me to draw 2 unless they have a Force of Negation. And then I can find a land and discard Greasefang Parhelion and find a land and go for Unearth, basically win on turn 2 immediately. This way I still had a combo on turn 3. This should have been turn 2 and game over by now, but now my opponent was on 14 and Parhelion does 13 damage, so they're left on 1 life, which is still pretty good situation for me. Again, here you can see me doing a good value with Faithless Looting, discarding all Chase Daredevil again. So many artifacts in this deck that you are for sure going to bring it back. You can see here Shadow Spear went in this matchup. Yeah, this is definitely a matchup like Zoo and Rhinos are great examples of matchups where Shadow Spear comes in from the sideboard. Very strong piece in those matchups, can beat that way like Sound Combo and stuff like that, which are unbeatable in other ways. Except if you have a Teething Blade or Shadow Spear to gain more life than them and survive long enough until you make big constructs or whatever. Okay, so here is the sideboarding plan against Rhinos. Once again, I think I did a slightly different sideboard plan. Maybe it's not the completely the same. Like against the sound version, like Verter is better. I didn't use it here, so yeah. That's okay, so that's it. That is the match against Rhinos. Yeah, that was this game. Yeah. Okay, so that is another match against Rhinos. Now we can check out match 4. Okay, so here I have a good start again, I would say, because I have Underworld Cookbook with Daredevil. I'm just always glad to see that combination in my hand. and I think this was a Belcher matchup. So obviously game 1 is hard for me because I don't have Pitting Needle, but game 2 and 3 become a lot easier with Pitting Needle. It's a very important piece, and as I explained before, I think one single Pitting Needle from the yard is just so strong and so good because you have plenty of access to it. There is 4 Goblin Engineers in the deck. So maybe I should have graveyarded the Greasefang there. So I have 2 Unearths in hand. So I think like graveyarding Greasefang was probably best option. Yeah, but it's really not that important since I have the cookbook anyway. But it would make more sense to just immediately unearth it. And yeah, opponent unfortunately has Disrupting Shoal. If they didn't have Disrupting Shoal, I would have lethal on this turn. So that would be amazing, like turn 3 win before my opponent can't even try to combo off. And yeah, they had Disrupting Shoal to counter my thing, and they did the Tameshi but didn't have anything to finish me, so they stopped the combo. On my turn I untap, kill the Tameshi, find a Greasefang, and another Greasefang finishes the job here. Okay, sorry, it didn't actually finish the job, sorry, my mistake. Because my opponent had Sink into Stupor. So Sink into Stupor prevented me from killing them, but now their Tameshi was dead. Lotus Bloom is in the yard, so that's definitely big problem for them. They can't prevent me from doing lethal next turn, and my opponent concede. So I don't have a hate in the main. I don't have discard, don't have counter, but I have potential of turn 3 kill, or even sometimes turn 2 13 damage with their lands coming untapped for 3 life. That can be hard for them to win after that. So here in this game I have a Pitting Needle, very important piece against the Charbelcher, obviously. So I start with Pitting Needle named the Charbelcher. It's not enough, as I said before, it's not enough just Needle. They have plenty of bounce, plenty of ways to get rid of that. Okay, so here I can go for Surveil, I can activate the Blood token, I go for Surveil and put a third Greasefang in the yard. And now I have some options. I draw a card with a token, and I go for a Greasefang, reanimate Parhelion. On turn 3 here, attack for 13, so my opponent is on 7 life. I have lethal next turn, so my opponent is in big trouble. And I also have Pitting Needle naming Charbelcher. My opponent is on 4 life, and I have lethal next turn. I have Pitting Needle for their Charbelcher, but opponent finds a way to deal with this. Nevertheless, and they had enough mana to play Sink into Stupor on same turn, plus Charbelcher, plus activated, so good job for opponent. And let's check out game 3. So my opponent finds amazing kill there on through hate, through fast, through all the things I had. And yeah, here I go for Mox Opal, and very cool. Turn 1 played a bunch of spells, and you can see that my sideboarding plan in this matchup also includes Nihil Spellbombs. Nihil Spellbombs work well with against their Tameshi, because Tameshi uses a graveyard to play with Lotus Bloom, so it's important piece as well. I go for I didn't play a cookbook here. I saved my fetch to do Surveil. My opponent goes for Falagi, And I go for a surveil. Find a white mana. I have Verter. Verter can be useful to kill their Lotus Bloom in upkeep. That's always not good with Tameshi in their deck, but sometimes can be relevant, and of course can be used to play the Charbelcher if they play it for 4 mana. That happens in some games. Okay, so opponent shocks in the land, passes the turn. I have Pitting Needle in the yard, so I can bring it back anytime I want with Goblin Engineer. That's really strong. And the other thing I was explaining before is I also have a cookbook in the field. So if my opponent tries to bounce a Pitting Needle while it's on the field, I can just discard it, put it in the yard, make a food token, sack a food token, bring Pitting Needle immediately back into game. So they have to have both a bounce spell and then a graveyard hate, which is a very hard thing to do. And then they also have to do the combo on the same turn. All that sounds pretty impossible to do. I do all that by sacking a Nihil Spellbomb, which also gets me a draw card. Okay, cycling the Unearth. Here I find Urza Saga. And now I'm trying to create a second food token to kill this hydroelectric specimen, continue attacking. Opponent decides to bounce the food. That's okay. So I bring back the Nihil Spellbomb using the Engineer ability. I play Urza Saga, which will make me big construct tokens, which will be able to finish game. And here my opponent plays Tameshi. I have Nihil Spellbomb in the field. I have Pitting Needle, and all this really make it really hard for opponents to do much. I put my Nihil Spellbomb in the yard end of turn to draw a card, and I can use it to bring it back with Goblin Engineer if necessary. But I also kill their Tameshi. So Blood Fountain, it works well with Engineer. It's a sack fodder for Engineer. You create a blood token which is useful with Daredevil, and then you can sack a Blood Fountain to bring something back from the yard. It creates a small value in the long games. It can be very useful, especially if you have Overchase Daredevil. Then this blood token becomes the actual card advantage. Okay, so here are my constructs. Constructs become big very fast, can finish the game. So I go in, start attacking. Finally, with these constructs, opponent blocks with Falagi, blocks my Asmo, but I have lethal on the field for next turn. Opponent goes Sink into Stupor, end of turn. Yeah, but I still have Blood Token, which I can use to discard Pitting Needle. Despite my Cookbook being tapped, I still can like bring it back to play immediately if they go for the Charbelcher. Opponent realizes they don't have any outs, so that is a game over. That was match 4, so let's check out the last match of this league for the trophy. All in all, difficult league, 2 matches against Rhinos without any Rhino hate, a game against Zoo when they had the Scion combo as well, and now against Belcher, when my only hate is a single Pitting Needle, and you really, it's a really strong hate. It's a hate you can protect amazingly with the Goblin, and it's very, very solid. Okay, so here you can see me playing against Eldrazi, another very, very often deck you see in leagues. Okay, so here I go for Faithless Looting, put Parhelion in the yard, and I put I did a lot in these 2 turns. So I put Parhelion in the yard, Mox Opal. I have a bunch of mana. I played Asmo, discarded a card to be able to play Asmo, and it was amazing turns. My opponent had the only graveyard hate piece, the one of Bajuka Bog, to clear my Greasefang combo. Unfortunately, If they didn't have it, I would be very close to a kill already now on turn 3. But my opponent had a good hand, good counter hand here when they were able to play Bojuka from hand, and then Kozilek's command kill my Greasefang, and then they microspawn kill my Urza Saga as well. But still, I have a decent game here. I can kill their microspawn, continue attacking with Asmo, use my blood token to draw another card, try to find something useful. Okay, so here it is. I go for the attack. I play the engineer here. Engineer puts, of course, Phyrexian Dragon Engine. I can use Marsh Flats to surveil again. If they don't kill the engineer or use Kozilek's command, I can bring it back to the field and then draw 3, which is great in this situation. Unfortunately, my opponent has Worldbreaker. Worldbreaker kills my Cookbook. It doesn't just kill it, it actually exiles it. Yeah, that was kind of a problem. Okay, so here I play a Blood Fountain first before reanimating Dragon Engine. I then play, with this on the stack, I play ability to not discard my Daredevil. Yeah, but I ended up discarding it anyway. Yeah, in the end I get it back to hand, use the Blood Fountain ability, go for a Mox Opal, and now I can also play a Greasefang or play another Asmo to find more cookbooks. I decide to go for the Greasefang. Maybe it was better to go for a second Asmo, but I know they have a second Worldbreaker in hand. I don't want them to. This is kind of a weird situation. So there's a Kozilek's return in the yard, and I know they have a second Worldbreaker in hand, and they also have Emrakul the Promised End below the Eugene's Labyrinth. So my creatures will definitely die. I can't do anything about that, and have to try to find a way to survive that. I have a second Asmo in hand. Unfortunately, this Worldbreaker also kills my Cookbook, which makes it really hard here. Okay, so I try to dig with Dragon Engine, draw 3, and I find the Cookbook, I find the Asmo, but yeah, that's not enough at this point. The 2 food tokens don't kill the Worldbreakers, so I will be forced to jump with Asmo, which is a bad deal for me, and all of that is. That's all if my opponent doesn't find a removal or something to kill me immediately. Okay. They go for a Worldbreaker, third Worldbreaker here, killing another Urza Saga, and at this point they are a 5/7 creature, so I can kill one Worldbreaker here, but it still doesn't do a lot for me. Only thing that can help me win here is a Greasefang combo. And I have Greasefang in the yard, but I need more than that to. I need also Parhelion. Okay, so you can see me playing 2 Daredevils. So 2 Daredevils in this situation, they allow me to block the Worldbreakers and basically try to survive a turn. But my opponent finds another Eldrazi Temple, which helps them cast this Emrakul, the Promised End, from their hand. And yeah, that settles it. I can't survive that. Actually, I can. Sorry, actually, I can. Yeah, this was funny. My opponent controlled my turn, so they played Emrakul, the Promised End. They're controlling my turn. And what they did was discard my Greasefang, and I just draw another one from the top. It was actually super funny. This is super funny. They top deck the Eldrazi Temple to hardcast the Emrakul, and I was patient and waiting for my chance, blocking there with double Daredevil, and I was able to find two Greasefangs from the top. With the second one, I was able to win, reanimate Parhelion, and reanimate Parhelion from the yard and do the lethal on this turn. Yeah, that was insane game, really insane game. And yeah, let's check out game 2. Let's also check out the sideboarding plan against the most popular, I would say, Eldrazi build nowadays. Okay, so here we go. Turn 1, Faithless Looting. I discard Daredevil. Once again, like a good value from a turn 1 looting. Finding pieces I need. Charmouse are great, and I was really surprised here where my opponent went for turn 2 Stone Rain with Eugene's Labyrinth and just Stone Rain my land. Did not expect that. And it's turn 3. I have just a single land. My opponent is already on 5 mana after killing my land, and they have 5 mana for Kozilek's command. It exiles my Daredevil, exiles my looting, and it's a pretty strong situation for opponent. A Tithing Blade at this point doesn't do much. It's a removal that can kill their big creatures, as you could see in one of the last games. Tithing Blade would be great, but in this matchup I only brought in single Tithing Blade. I didn't actually want to, just one. I can tutor when I need it, if I need to kill their Emrakul. That can be a problem. It's hard to kill with Asmo, and I think it's decent to have one of them. And here you can see opponent turn 4 Hardcast Emrakul. Really strong game, but okay, so this is all of this is my, of course, my opponent controlling my turn, so I would not I would not discard my Obsidian Charmouse and Damping Sphere, so that was my opponent controlling my turn. So I was able to play the Greasefang, which is actually pretty cool, but still doesn't do enough. I don't have Parhelion in the yard. And yeah, after my opponent exiles my Greasefang, that's definite game over. And opponent gets this one with turn 4 Hardcast Emrakul, the Promised Land. Very good start for opponent. Okay, once again, let's check out the sideboarding plan. So I already mentioned one Tithing Blade went in, and when I was on the play, I also decided to put a second one in. I think Asmo and Daredevil are not that important in this matchup. So I removed one Asmo, one Daredevil, one Unearth, one Looting, one Opal, just trimming some one-offs to include cards I want. Like the most important card is Obsidian Charmouse. Damping Sphere is good as well. Damping Sphere can make their 2 mana producing lands produce only 1 mana, obviously, which can definitely stop them well and often plays well against them. Okay, it's still too early for Charmao, but we can see opponent going for Kozilek's command here while using the situation when the Eldrazi Temple makes more mana. Okay, so my Obsidian Charmao is still too expensive, and now finally they play a second colorless land, so I can play the Charmao. And now Charmao hits good as well, attacks for 4 damage in the air. That's like really strong. Here I have Urza Saga at this point, and I'm attacking for 5, playing Greasefang as another attacker. Opponent goes for Devourer of Destiny. I was not able to cast Asmo there because of my own Damping Sphere, so it also makes cost of my cards bigger, not just opponents. So the second spell would cost 2 mana. I only had a single mana left. Okay, so opponent was able to finally play this Devourer, but I play Asmo Kill Devourer for free, and now I am attacking them again for 5, putting down on 7. I have a little on board. I can go for Construct end of turn, play Titting Blade to kill their blocker and finish this off, and I was able to do it. Opponent concedes, so I get the match and I get the trophy against Eldrazi's. Okay, so I think this was a very serious league, played against very strong decks. Eldrazi is one of the most played decks I see in the leagues right now, especially this version I played against with the Miracle the Promised Land. Belcher is still a popular and strong deck, was one of the best decks pre-ban, pre-unban, and also Rhinos with a big comeback in this era. Also a good deck right now, doing decent results. Zoo good as well. So very hard league. We saw that every match went in 3 games. Opponent in some games they had a nut draws. They had very good hands, except I think in that one game where we both struggled to find anything. But I was able to get win and get all the 5 wins in the end, get the trophy with this beautiful list, and I would say definitely this is the best Greasefang build I tried and played. It has so much stuff going on with Faithless Lootings boosting this archetype immensely, doing the value with Daredevils in hand, as you could see throughout this league many times. Mox Opals as well, enabling some crazy strong fast starts. It's just all around a good deck doing good things, and Greasefang is now finally on modern power level. It was always like a pioneer card. I think now this is a modern power level deck that can do and surprise a lot of decks and win easily. The biggest enemy of this deck, I think it's still like Meltdown and Brotherhood's End, but also sometimes you will have like turn 2 or turn 3 Greasefang combo, and then you won't care for Brotherhood's End and Meltdown anymore. So a few times opponent actually had Brotherhood's End against me. They waited for my Earth Saga chapter to come, and then it was too late. I had the Greasefang, I reanimate Parhelion, and they were not able to beat that. So it's not that easy to play against it, even when you have the Brotherhood's End and Meltdowns. I played all decks I played against, like 2 Rhinos. They have Brotherhood's End in their sideboards, most of the lists. Also, Zoo has plenty of wear tears nowadays in the sideboard, which can also do good hit against this type of deck. But I was able to beat all these, and it's not that easy as it seems. This deck just doesn't just scoop to Meltdown and Brotherhood's End. Of course, if you're playing against these cards, you have to be careful, have to count that they have that, and have to have like 2 game plans, or don't go all in, or strategize and stuff like that. But it's definitely possible to beat hate with this deck and go really fast against combo decks. As you could see, like one time against Belcher I had the turn 3 kill, but they had interaction. So yeah, there's that. Also, it's so sweet that Goblin Engineer can beat all the combo decks by finding these 3 cards. So these 3 cards in the sideboard are enough to have all the hate you need against the 2 most popular combo decks in format. I think that is the sweet thing about this build, and for Goblin Engineer in the deck tutors them, makes your access to them even bigger. Also, not to mention that Pitting Needle hates on a Yawgmoth as well, and Pitting Needle is pretty good if you need it like more. You can see with Engineer it's basically unkillable. If they kill it, or if they bounce it, you can immediately bring it back. So it's a very strong piece. Okay, not to mention that we can play 2 in the sideboard if needed. And that's it. That's all for today. The sweet thing that other sideboard cards are very efficient and very cards that are very good right now. So the Fatal Push are great. As you could see in this last game, Obsidian Charma was great against Eldrazi's, great against Amulet Titan as well. Where Tears is now better card than it like ever was in Modern. So lot of valuable pieces in this deck, lot of game plans, and decks doing really powerful stuff very aggressively, very early, and it's hard to play against and hard to hate. You need graveyard hate, and sometimes you need graveyard hate, sometimes you need artifact hate, sometimes you need to kill Saga. It's not that easy. It's definitely not that easy, and it attacks from many angles. It's a good deck. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching. That's all for today. For the end, a reminder to click like, click subscribe, comment down in the video your impression of the Greasefang, of this trophy league with Greasefang. I hope it's already out there, people trying it and doing good results with it. Okay, so want to hear your thoughts down in comments, and that's all for today. Thank you for watching until now, and goodbye.